Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana here, and I'm live in my Beehive studio this morning, and it is a glorious day. The sun is shining, we've got blue skies, leaves are turning color. It's a great day. I just wanted to make a little note for YouTube watchers. I'm not live on YouTube, I'm live on Facebook. So if you're watching me from YouTube later on, this will be recorded for you on YouTube. So, but please feel free to leave me comments and questions and all that, because I get back to you later on when I see those come through. So I thought I would just talk for a little bit until I see if we can get some people to come on here this morning. I'll be stamping a card shortly in a couple minutes. So what's happening in the world of me this week? Oh no, the phone's ringing. I'm just gonna let that ring, and my answering machine will hopefully pick that up, and I can answer that later. I try sometimes to remember to put my phone in the other room, but not always. All right, so this weekend, my son, I've talked about him before. He's 18 and he's a senior in high school. And he's applying to colleges right now. And I don't know about you. Some of you may have kids that have gone through that process before or up and coming, but this is such a stressful process. It is like so hard to watch. I mean, he's such a good kid and he's like going through this, but I see like the stress he's under, and it's just like so hard to watch. Like, you know, you want to do everything for your kid, and now he's 18, he's you know, an adult, but you can't anymore. And you know, you stand back and you watch and you see them make mistakes, or they don't want to listen to your advice, and you just want to like help them so much, and it's so hard. But anyway, we went on a college tour this weekend. We haven't done many college tours in the US. Actually, this was my first college tour in the US. Actually, he's gone on a few, and my husband's gone with him. But this was my first US college tour. We're originally from Canada, so it's very likely he's going to go up to school in Canada. So I haven't really put a lot of effort into the US schools, but it was very, very eye-opening because this was a private institution, and we live in Boston, and it is known as a college town, and there are so many colleges here. Anyway, this was one of the better known, bigger colleges, and we went there, and just going to see how much it costs to go to school in the US at a private college is like blew my mind. $50,000 just for tuition. I mean, I know they can award you some awards and stuff, but like, you know, if you're not in the top 10 to 15% of your class or of the people that they're accepting, you might not get any help, or you might get like a little bit, but it's like, whoa. It's like a lot of money. So my son is also applying to in-state schools as well. So, you know, that is a lot more reasonable. It's around 15,000 versus like 50,000. Whoa, it just like blew my mind. Anyway, so I came out of there with a new understanding of people. I don't know, I guess some people, you know, save up and they do that. And we haven't really had the opportunity to save up with all of those moves, but we can definitely send him to school in Canada. It's a lot more reasonable. So when we get down to it, we'll do the cost benefit analysis of where he's going and everything, and we'll hopefully figure it out. It's just, we only have one kid, so we're just like going through this, and I wish we had another kid to help through the process afterwards, because I think we'd be a lot more smooth. But anyway, if you've ever gone through this and you have advice for me, just let me know below. And you know, and if you're coming up to this process, I'm like, oh, don't stress as much as me. I mean, I think we all get through it in the end, but it's like right now I'm just like, whoa, It's crazy. But it will all settle out in spring when we hopefully find out where he's been accepted and all of that. But anyway, I'm going to start now because there's a few of you on here. And so today's Casing Tuesday, and it's the day when we take a card out of the catalog, out of one of our catalogs. Today it's the holiday catalog, and we give it a makeover. And that's fun because I don't know if you've ever done that before, but it's fun and it doesn't take as much time as building a card from scratch. So I hope you'll try it. And if you try it, you can go check out our Casing Tuesday Facebook group and join in and post your cards over there so we can comment on them. And so I hope you'll give it a try. And I'm gonna just turn my camera around and show you what my makeover card was today. And I decided that I was going to change things up. I usually do the card exactly as it is, but today I'm going to do a different card. Well, I mean, it's the same layout, the same basic card, but I change it up with different paper and different colors. How's that? All right, let me do the switch around. All right, see, look how beautiful it is out there today. The river is reflecting the blue of the sky, and I don't know if you can see in the background, we still have a lot of green on our trees, but there's some yellow and orange starting to creep in. By next week, I think we'll see it like an even better display, so I'm like really looking forward to next week. I love fall. It's just such an awesome time of year, isn't it? Okay, let me just get my camera settled. Okay, all right, so this is the card that we are copying or casing today. It's this cute little Merry Christmas card, and of course I did some changes on it because I like to do that. So here is my card for comparison. I still use the corrugated embossing folder, and I used some nice pattern paper in the background, but I took some things out. Like, I really didn't want to make my card so bulky. The corrugated embossing folder already adds depth to the card, so I didn't also want to put this it's a garland that goes around right here, so I kind of kept my card a little flatter for mailing. Today I am using, and I know I showed this to you yesterday, I'm using the Christmas Traditions Punch Box. So isn't this an absolutely gorgeous tin? I just love it. And they send this in a cardboard box so it's protected when it's mailed. And I think this is such a pretty tin just to put Christmas cookies in afterwards. I just think it's just gorgeous. So after you take out all the supplies and use them, and you don't want to store things back in there, you can use this as a little storage tin. You could use it to store ornaments. It's just such a nice little tin. Anyway, so what do you get inside the tin? You get this little stamp set. It has 6 small images. These are great labels for 3D things. They make great tags, and on a card, to make them a little bit more noticeable, you have to layer it up. So that's what I've tried to do with my note cards yesterday, and I'm sure you're going to see on my card today. That's what I'm doing today. You also get a punch. My punch is now stuck in there. Oh my gosh. We do need the punch, so I do need to push it out. I think I put it in the wrong way. But here is the punch, and it matches the stamps, so it's perfect for that, and I'm going to show you that in action. You get 2 Stampin' Spots in Real Red and Call Me Clover, the perfect traditional Christmas green colors, so those are really awesome. Let me pull those out. And you get a stamping block, so you're all set to stamp. You're all set to mount these little stamps on your block, and you're ready to go. So it is just a nice little tin. A really great gift as well, because it's already kind of packaged up really cutely, and then it has almost everything you need. If you package this with maybe some blanket tags that someone could stamp, or some note cards and envelopes, then they'll be ready to go to stamp. Most people already have some sort of adhesive at home to use. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pull off a little stamp. You can tell I've already used this one. It's been a little stained. And I'm just going to mount it on my block. Okay, and then what are you going to need? You're going to need a scrap piece of Whisper White, and I'm going to use my real red spot that came in the box, and you're just going to ink this little guy up. Real red is, I think, probably out of all the Stampin' Up colors, it's probably, I'm trying to think if it's the only one. It's one of the only original colors that we had when I started stamping. So a lot of colors have come and gone, but this real red is like such a pure red. It's the perfect Christmas red. It's, you know, the true primary red color. So it's so good for all the holidays like Valentine's Day and for 4th of July and for Canada Day if you're a Canadian like me. Of course, I live in the US, so I celebrate so many holidays. I celebrate the Canadian ones and I celebrate the American ones. It's kind of fun. I love holidays because they always have iconic images, and so I always like to kind of, I don't know, I love creating for holidays even if I don't necessarily celebrate them that much. So okay, so that is the only stamping that you'll need to do. And then we need to do some punching. So to back up this little piece, I'm going to use a piece of shaded spruce today. And I'm just doing this card slightly differently. I'm going to use my 1 3/4 inch circle punch. Just go ahead and punch that out. And I'm going to banner punch the ends of this real red cardstock. So this piece is cut to 4.5 inches by 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to open up my banner triple punch, and you'll notice that this is loosey-goosey in the slot. It is designed for a 1 inch width of cardstock. So what you can do is you just want to slide it so that it's coming right down the center, equal distance on either side, and then you can give it a punch, and you're going to do the same for the other side. You need to make sure you're hitting the back of the punch so you'll feel like with your that your cardstock is hitting all the way in. Make sure it is equal, and then give it a punch. And so that creates that little back panner, and this is what it actually punches out at the end. All right, okay, and then we need to take some of this beautiful glimmer paper. Now this glimmer paper comes in a package. This is called the Joyous Noel glimmer paper, and it comes with 3 different colors, kind of this coppery gold color, this cherry cobbler, and this one's kind of more along the shaded spruce color. Okay, and then I'm going to take my sprig punch right here. This has become very popular. I believe this is on back order right now, but you can still order it at this point. So if you love the sprig punch, go ahead and order it as soon as possible, because you'll want to make sure that as soon as it's available, it will ship to you. So you can order it right now, but it won't ship right away. So let me just go ahead. Just a little trick when you're punching glimmer paper, it's easier to line up in the punch if you do it from the white side. You can see a little bit better if your punch is all the way over. So I'm just going to go ahead and punch and move it over and punch one more time. That's just going to be my little backdrop. Okay, let me see if I've got all the pieces. Okay, I need some designer series paper, and I'm using some different designer series paper. Let me grab the name of this paper. This is Under the Mistletoe designer series paper, and this is the one that is in the main catalog. So we've had it for a little while, but I love it because it's got a lot of great patterns in it. It's got some like a pattern like this that's more like a picture, and then it's got some plaids and some just regular kind of tone on tone patterns. So it's a really great paper. This piece of designer series paper is 4 inches by 3 inches. I am matting it up on a piece of corrugated paper that will be embossing in a second. So this paper is very light, and when it gets mailed, I want to back it up a little bit so that it doesn't get smushed with mailing, and that it can adhere a little better. So I took a piece that's just a little bit smaller than 3 by 4, just to back this with, so that it has a little bit more substance. So let me go ahead and grab some Tombow. And I'm just going to put some glue, hopefully. My glue. Haven't used it yet today, so it's waking up. It's like us. It's waking up. It doesn't want to wake up. I need to do my little quick fix with the paper clip. Unclog that, hopefully. It will start going. There we go. And then I am just going to, I want to add this to the back because we're using that front pattern. And if you cut it just a little bit smaller than 3 by 4, it's easier to put on the back to make sure that you're not having any white peek through, because that's not my intention. I want to make sure that you can't, oh, I actually can see a little white. No, okay, so I'm going to have to snip it off. See, I cut it crooked. Oh my. All right, so if that happens, then the fix is the scissors. So you're just going to come along here. It's just got a little bit sticking out right there. Okay, now you can't see that. I don't know how I got that on there crooked. Cut it maybe 1/8 of an inch smaller, and then you'll be fine. I cut it just a hair shorter, and it just... Okay, all right, so now we just need to emboss. We need to emboss. So I've got my Big Shot. I've got my base platform for my Big Shot. I need a piece of paper or cardstock to emboss. Now this piece is 5 inches by 3 7/8 inches. What happens when you run this through the corrugated embossing folder is it's going to shrink by about 1/8 of an inch. If you're doing about this size, it's going to shrink by about 1/8 of an inch because it's kind of bending the cardstock together. So if you think you're cutting it for the perfect layer for a card, you'll find that it's going to look a little weird because it's a little shorter than you thought. So on this end, because the corrugation is going this way on the horizontal, I'm losing 1/8 of an inch. So that's why I added 1/8 of an inch on the one side to make sure that it covers the same space that I wanted to, if that's a weird way of putting it. This is a thick embossing folder, so you will only be using one of these plates, okay? So I'm putting this right on my base platform. I'm going to take my plate and put it on top, and then we're going to run it through. All these little tricks that you learn when you're doing this. So here it is, and so it should now be the correct size for my card. So I need a card base. This is Early Espresso, and this is also Early Espresso, and my card base is 8.5 by 5.5 and scored 1/2 at 4 1/4 inches. And then we're going to add this on top, and see, that looks pretty good. It has the same distance around all the edges. Now normally I would have had to cut this piece so it was 3 3/4 inches to get the correct, you know, perfect spacing all around, but it shrunk by 1/8 of an inch. So just keep that in mind when you're using that embossing folder. It is a really nice neutral embossing folder. So I'm just gonna add some glue to the back of this. My bottle is like almost out. I think I need to start a new bottle. All right, it's time to start a new bottle. Well, actually, I had a second bottle on the go. Let's see if I can get this one to work. Let me just declog this one right from the beginning. And I have a third bottle that's ready to go too. I'm just like, I kind of like to use them all up, and then, I always have like 2 or 3 bottles on the go. All right, do you do that too? Do you have more than one adhesive on the go at the same time? I just do. I don't know why. Okay, so I'm just centering that on the front of my card, and then I'm going to take this piece and, come on. I'm doing a lot of back and forth because this is not going to, because of the corrugation, the adhesive is not going to stick everywhere. Because there's an indent it won't stick to, so I want to make sure I go back and forth several times so that my adhesive does hit. And so I'm going to center this on here as well. All right, I always try and make sure it looks pretty centered. I always take too much time with that. All right, so now let's glue these 2 pieces together. And then for the Glimmer Paper sprigs, I'm going to use some tear and tape. Why use tear and tape and not glue? This glue is wet, and when you put it on here, it's not going to stick so well. So I find tear and tape is a little better. So I'm just going to put 2 lines of tear and tape on here. I actually am tearing it today. All right. And then I just need to, I still don't have thumbnails. If you watched me yesterday, I struggled with the tear and tape liner because my right thumbnail is so short right now. Okay, so I'm making it look harder than it really is. And then you can take these little sprigs, and you just kind of want to have a certain amount coming out from the top and from the bottom. I'm just kind of angling it. Okay, and then, oh, I probably should have just put another piece of tear and tape down the center to adhere to my banner. So let's do that right now. You could also use glue for the banner because it's cardstock to cardstock and not cardstock to glimmer paper. But let's just go ahead, and this needs to be centered and not crooked. All right, I think that's pretty good. And then now I'm going to take Tombow again and put it on this banner piece, and can also hit some of those sprigs. The back of the glimmer paper now doesn't have that shiny glossy that it used to have, because our glimmer paper retired, and we have a thinner glimmer paper that's easier to punch and die cut, and the backing is also not as glossy, so it makes it a lot easier for that adhesive to stick on the back, but not on the front. So then I'm just going to add this to the front, make sure it's kind of centered. Okay, so you can see that glimmer paper is very subtle, right? But it catches the light, and it just kind of blends into the background, and that's actually what I want. Then I'm going to take a little bow. This is the Real Red Solid ribbon out of the annual catalog, and it just ties up nicely. It's big enough to show up, but not so big that it draws attention away from the focal point. So when you have a focal point that's really small like this, it's sometimes hard to, or it's easy to overwhelm it with things that are going on around it. So you want to make sure that you don't do things to detract from the attention of your focal point, which is in this case your stamped image. So if I'm just going to add this right down here to the bottom, and you notice how this kind of blends in. So I don't know if I've talked about focal points recently, but a focal point of the card, whatever it is, one of the easiest ways to have your eye draw right there is if it's white, okay? So this is a white piece, so it's the lightest thing in the card, and your eye is naturally drawn to light. So since this is the lightest piece, your eye is going to go in, even though it's quite small, your eye is going to go right there. If I used a really big ribbon right here, your eye is gonna like, oh wow, like where do I look? And that's when a card kind of looks too busy, is because when it doesn't know where to look. So you'll notice that these sprigs in the background, they blend nicely. They add just a little bit of sparkle, but your eye is still going right here when it looks at it, right? The bow is big enough, but your eye is still going right here. This red piece back here, it's still drawing the eye here, and this is all kind of framed up. Everything is making you look right here. You also don't want to do like a similar size object in this size. Like if you had a big button that was, you know, this size or maybe a little smaller, that would also look awkward because you want to have your eye drawn right to the focal point. So it starts at the focal point, and then you kind of, your eye moves all the way around and notices all the other little details of the card. So if you ever have a card that you've designed or you've created and you're like, I don't know why I don't like my card, it's like too busy. Well, the reason you might not like your card is because your eye does not know where to look. So have a look at how many focal points you have on that card, and then choose one, and then have everything else be subordinate to that focal point. That's my tip of the day. Focal points. Yay. All right, so what do you think? Which card do you like better? Do you like the one in Early Espresso here on the right, or do you like the one in Crumb Cake on the left? And I hope I'm not in reverse. Maybe I'm on reverse. Maybe rights and lefts are reversed down here right now. But let's just say, do you like Crumb Cake or do you like Early Espresso? I don't know. I kind of like both of them. I don't know. They're both a little different, but they've kind of got the same. They've got some similarities. Anyway, that is my card for the day. If you want to know the supplies that I used today, have a look at my link to my blog post. And if you want to order, please use the host code. Every time you order from me and you spend at least $15, I will send you one of my free exclusive tutorials. And if you spend $75 in 1 month using the host code, I'll also send you an extra little gift. And that information's all available on my blog. Oh, can't talk today. All right. Okay, so Sue says she likes the lighter color card. You know, it's hard to tell. I think sometimes in person, you know, cards look better. I think the lighter color card right here shows the corrugation better. And I think in person, I don't know. But it is a matter of opinion, right? So I decided to do the lighter colored card for my blog, and I thought I'd change it up a little bit for the live version. All right, let me turn this around. All right, so now I want to see what you guys can do with our makeover card this week. I want you to go in and have a look at the card. It's on page 12 of the holiday catalog, and have a look and see if you can make it up in a different way. And then you can either join our Casing Tuesday Facebook group, the link is below, or you can ask to join the Casing Tuesday Facebook group and we will approve you, and then you can share your card on there. Or if you're not quite ready to share yet, you can see what other people have done. We've got about 10 different bloggers that do the card each week. So you can have a look, and most of us, not all of us, I think about 5 of us had already posted our card for today. So we've already got some people posting. And so you'll be able to see the different options. I saw a fall card, I saw a Halloween card, and some Christmas card, another Christmas card, and a birthday card. So you can see that, you know, we don't just stick to the Christmas theme. You can use the layout to do, you know, many different themes if you're not looking to do a Christmas card today. So I hope you will try it out and post on our Facebook group. Okay, guys, I have more projects coming up with the Christmas Traditions Punch Box this week. And next week, I will be back on Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time doing my Facebook Live once again. So I hope you guys all have a great week until then. Take care. Bye-bye.